What's up, friends? I'm Josh, and welcome back to the TCNR Network, where today I'm going to discuss something I've been wanting to discuss for an extremely long time, my Scream 5, aka Scream 2022 theories. So as we all pretty much know, there has been a lot of Scream news in the last week. They are finally rolling out some marketing, which we are all freaking out about. Not only do we have a Ghostface emoji that is trending, we have this really cool Airbnb thing going on. There's been dope promos with Dewey hosting an Airbnb at the infamous Stu Macher house, and this really got my wheels turning. I've thought for a while that maybe Dewey isn't sheriff anymore. He's getting up there in age. I wouldn't be surprised if he's retired. I've always thought that him and Gail would be separated by now, if not divorced by now. Gail has always just wanted that fame, and she's been a hungry go-getter, which I love. I don't know why I'm crossing my fingers, but I love that about her. And I'm just like, they're on again, off again, kind of tumultuous thing. I think it'd be really cool to see them separate, but yet again coming back together in a way. So after seeing this Airbnb promo, I'm like, maybe Dewey bought the Stu Macher house because he's like, what else am I gonna do? I'm in Woodsboro. I'm not the sheriff anymore. Gail has left me. I'm here in this town where all these murders happen. I would imagine his parents are dead now as well because we haven't heard anything about them. So he's like, I'm going to buy the Stu Macher house and make it into an Airbnb that true crime lovers can come and stay at. Genius. Flippin' genius. Because we've all been talking about we want podcasts in the Scream world. We want true crime documentaries in the Scream world. Like, there has to be people in the world that Woodsboro lives in or exists in that has regular people like you and me who are kind of obsessed with true crime. You know, people go to the actual house where it was filmed in the real world that we live in because they're Scream fans. So why wouldn't people go to the Stu Macher house where the Woodsboro massacre took place? It's genius. And if it's not in the film, I'm going to be surprised and disappointed because I think that would be a genius way to bring it back to Stu Macher's house without doing anything kind of like redundant or too rebooty, if you will. So in terms of Gail, I, again, have always said that I think she has kind of revamped her career. Maybe she's back on TV. Maybe this true crime documentary that is about the Woodsboro massacre is something that she's producing, that she is involved in. In terms of Sydney, I honestly don't really have any theories about where she could be. We all want to see her happy, but at the same time, I don't want to kill a final girl. I don't want to kill Sydney, but I love when movies surprise the hell out of me, shock the hell out of me. When I'm watching a movie, I was watching a movie last weekend and I was like, oh, hope there's a twist. This is going to be a happy ending. I don't like movies that are like, oh, wrap it up with a tiny little bow. I like to be like, oh my God, really? That just happened? What? How? And you leave the theater kind of walking in a daze and you're just like, what? So I don't know if I want Sydney to die, but I'm one of the few that wouldn't be mad at it. Even though I love Neve Campbell, I love the character, and Scream is Scream because of her, but it's also Scream because of Ghostface. So I don't know. We'll talk about that when the truth comes out, I guess. Now, I believe it was last month, HelloSydney.com, which is all of our go-to for Scream news, had a 3-part series of interviews with the Radio Silence team, the men that created the new Scream film. There were a lot of interesting moments. There was nothing, spoilery or completely blew our minds, but it was really neat to see them sit down and have a conversation about the new movie. There were a few things that stood out to me that then got my wheels turning. They mentioned how this movie will, in fact, be a little bit meta. They're like, how can it be a Scream without it being meta or self-referential? There's not really a way to do that without it being Scream, but we kind of saw as the movies, Scream 1 all the way through Scream 4, the more sequels that came out, the more corny, I guess, the meta content became. I don't even know if that makes any sense. I loved it. I mean, Scream 3 I thought was great. I'm obsessed with it. Scream 4, even watching it back now, it's very meta, but it's also done in a certain way. I've said in one of my previous videos why Scream 4 was such a success, because it ultimately kind of failed, but that's exactly what these reboots tend to do until another reboot is created and that reboot takes off, right? So in the interview with Hello Sydney, the Men of Radio Silence said that it was going to reference some current films, the current status of the horror genre, and what that looks like today. And we know that horror today is it's very unique concepts, like things that we've never seen before, with Jordan Peele's movies, new approaches to things. Even the movie Old that just came out, it was more of a psychological thriller as opposed to a horror, but these are new concepts. We're not rehashing the same old like we've done in the past, but also horror is creating these reboots that aren't necessarily reboots, but there are sequels that ignore the other sequels that came before them, like Halloween and Candyman. So just like those movies, this Scream film is only called Scream. It's not called Scream 5. Just like Halloween wasn't called Halloween 16 or whatever. It's called Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. And same with Candyman. It's called Candyman. It's a sequel to Candyman, but it's still called Candyman because it's reinvented Candyman. So what I think is going to happen here, stick with me, because even when I try to explain it, I get a little bit confused, but stick with me. I think that the Ghostface killer, the main one in Scream 2022, is very closely connected to Scream 1996. And this killer wants to ignore everything that happened in the Scream world from Scream 2, 3, and 4. He or she doesn't care, which leads me to believe that they're connected to Billy or Stu. Those two main killers. I can't imagine they wouldn't be. Especially since we're going back to Stu Macher's house, even though it's like a Dewey Airbnb, but whatever. I think that this killer is trying to wrap up any loose ends, aka kill the main trio, get rid of them, finish what was started in 1996. He or she doesn't care about what happened at college, doesn't care about what happened in Hollywood, doesn't give a damn about Jill Roberts. It's just like, I need to finish what was started. This is my reboot. However, I then think that there is going to be a separate group of Ghostfaces that is kind of maybe being mentored by the OG Ghostface, and they're taking their inspiration from current horror films. I think it would be really cool to see some of these iconic kills from the last 5 years from films recreated in a Ghostface way. We know that in Halloween, Michael Myers was set on fire. I've heard some rumors that that could have been a spoiler, so I'm gonna bleep that out, which I would have bleeped it out because you would have just heard it, but I take back what I said. So maybe they're just taking inspiration from where the horror genre is today to create their very own Woodsboro Massacre, their very own killing spree. I don't think it's gonna be like rebooty of 1996. I think that it is going to be so meta that the killers are actually creating this modern day reboot, just like Halloween and Candyman, but it's not going to be rebooty in the actual film sense. New kills, kind of a new motive. We're probably going to learn something that we didn't know before, which I hope so. Just like when we found out about Roman, I want to find out something that I was like, oh, damn, like what? And this loops me all the way back around to something I will never not want Stu to return. And every time I say it, people get mad at me and they go crazy, but I want Stu back. I don't see why Stu could not return, and this would be the perfect way for it to be that modern day reboot. Stu survived in 1996. He was taken into custody. He was maybe pronounced dead, and they did that so that he would cooperate, because we kind of all suspect that Billy was the one kind of pulling the strings and Stu was just kind of along for the ride, even though he's like cuckoo. But maybe he was like, okay, I'm not dead. I will cooperate, but you have to tell everyone that I did die, and I'll give you all the information that you need to know. And I'm sure he kept some secrets to himself, but like, what if he escapes wherever he is, or he comes back, or he's released because it's been 25 years? Sometimes people only spend 25 years in prison for killing people. Like, hello, that's what a life sentence is, right? I think. In Canada, it might be. So I just think maybe he's coming back. That's how they're going to do the modern day reboot. And he's going to try and finish off Gail, Dewey, and Cindy. I think it would be absolutely iconic. I think the Men of Radio Silence have everything that we need for them to pull it off. I think they have they have the talent to pull something like that off. A lot of people say that it could be corny, that it could turn out wrong, that it could just like not make any sense, but I believe thus far that these guys are going to do it justice, and I want Stu to come on screen and us be like, holy crap. Like, I actually get chills thinking about it. I need to go to therapy. Let me know what you guys think of this theory. I know it's not a popular theory, but I really think that they're going to do something to reinvent the franchise and reinvent the horror genre as we all see it today. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at True Crime Nursery Rhymes, on Twitter at TCNR Network, and not on TikTok because somehow I got locked out of my TikTok. So when I do come back, it will be at _Joshua Robert. And on a final note, I'm going to see the re-release of Scream on Sunday. I've been all over Twitter saying that I am 100% going to cry when they show the trailer. Like, I was thinking about it yesterday, my reaction, and my eyes started watering. Like, there's something wrong with me. But there's been so much hype and so much excitement, and the Scream community is going wild. And not to mention how, like, nice you guys are about my videos, chatting on Instagram and Twitter, and it's just like really cool for us all to be hyped up about something no matter where we're from, our age, our race, our anything. It's just really cool that we can all come together about a super dope film franchise that we all love. So I will let you know on Sunday if the trailer for Scream 2022 is in fact playing before the Scream 1996 25th anniversary release. That was a mouthful, and if it's not, it's coming. So stick around because I am going to lose it. And until next time, I'll be right back.